This question was asked from this altar before Trump. Because when this issue and question came to me, and then I inquired of the Lord, He gave a message and a response, as I always do. Things that did not make sense, I always go to my Father in heaven and ask Him. And then I hear what He has to say. And that was included in the message that was given to Trump before he even announced to run for the office, and when and before as part of what he need to address. And then courageous enough, he took that up to ask that question. And for him to ask the question, another question was asked. When that was given to him to say, if you don't believe what the Lord is saying to you, then challenge those ideas and see how many of them will still remain your friend. They're your friend because you are bribing them and you are paying their bills so that they can sit down at home and not work as we work, and then have a more beautiful cities and towns than we do. So, though the defenders of our country raised a revolution to fight against the king, the ruling king of the world at the time, and defeated them because they did not want to continue to pay taxes to them. They found a way to bring us back that he wasn't only paying tax to the United Kingdom, but America was paying tax to all the Europeans. And all the nations of the world, how foolish that was. It was not an act of love. If it was an act of love and a gift, a deliberate gift given, it would have been understood that one may suffer, and then only to give it up to the other so that they may enjoy and live a better life. But how tricky it is that they sponsor the people to our congresses, those citizens of this land or residents of this land. They find their ways to be sending money home. So those of us like Africans that send home their sweat, so you must know how unbalanced and unfair that is. Out of this one, the one and the income you receive, you pay your taxes too like everybody, then you take from what is left and send home. But some people find a way to be financing their thirst for blood and wars, and to be financing their destruction of nations God has established, and find a way to send the money to their friends in order to pay and fight and keep the war going. No thought is given to the blood that is shed. We are sacrificing our children, we just heard, for Moab. For Moab, sacrifice. The prince, the successor, at the war. So that they are able to push back against Israel. They could not make progress to get to the king to negotiate. He burned his own son as an offering on the wall. There came great wrath against Israel. The prophet prophesied and told Israel what to do to destroy the place. But the wrath turned against Israel the moment Moab sacrificed the son. The Moabites are not God's children. They are not believers, just like we have unbelievers today. I want you to see how the power changed. The sacrifice of his son was he made to the God that we know. The scripture didn't say. But what the scripture says that we know from the scripture that the Moabites worship an idol. But who controls the idol? Where did the rat come from? If you believe that Satan doesn't have power, where did the rat come from to pursue Israel to go back to their land? Which means that the Moabites was able to defeat or to drive them out and seek out their own freedom. But God allowed it. Why did God allow it? Remember, the prophet prophesied to them. The prophet told them to go. I don't have my glasses, so you often and on, you may be experiencing some difficulties. The word of the Lord said, thus they destroyed the cities, and each one threw a stone on every piece of good land, and filled it. So they stopped all the springs of water and fell all the good trees, until in Kehareseth only they left its stones. However, the slinger went about it and struck it. Why did they, when they reached Kehareseth, they left